Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dig into one of the most confusing letters in the English language, the letter Y. Seriously, this thing is a total shapeshifter. Sometimes it's a consonant, sometimes it's a vowel. So let's finally figure out its secrets together.
It's a great question, right? You've got that y in yellow, the I in sky, and then the E in happy. At first glance, it just seems completely random. But what if I told you it's not random at all? What if there's a pattern? That's right. Believe it or not, there's a surprisingly logical system behind all those different sounds, and we are about to break that system down so you can finally master it once and for all.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The key to unlocking the mystery of Y is knowing this one thing. It actually makes 4 distinct sounds. Not 1, not 2, but 4. And each one has its own specific rule that all depends on where you find it in a word.
First up, let's start with the sound that probably everybody knows, the consonant Y. This is that classic y sound you hear in words like yes or you.
And you know what? The rule for this one could not be simpler. If a word or even just a syllable starts with the letter Y, it's going to make that y consonant sound. The position right at the start is the key.
Just look at these words: yellow, yolk, yogurt. In every single one of them, the Y is right there at the front. And yep, in every single one, it makes that y sound. Easy enough, right? So far, so good.
Okay, but now this is where things start to get really interesting. Because as soon as Y moves away from the beginning of a word, it actually stops being a consonant and it completely transforms into a vowel. And our second sound is when Y sounds exactly like a short I.
So once again, the key is all about its position. When you find a Y tucked into the middle of a syllable, it almost always makes that short I sound. Just like the I in a word like sit. Let's take a look at a couple of great examples. In the word gym, see how the Y is sandwiched right between the G and the M? That's why it sounds like gym. It's the same deal with symbol. The Y is in that first syllable, sim, giving it that short I sound.
All right, so we've covered Y at the beginning and in the middle. The only place left to go is the end of a word. Now this is where we find our final 2 sounds, and the rule here all comes down to one really simple thing. How long is the word?
This really is the final piece of the puzzle. If a Y lands at the end of a short, one-syllable word, it makes the long I sound, like I. So think of words like cry, my, or fly. But, and this is the cool part, if that Y is at the end of a longer word, with 2 or more syllables, it switches to the long E sound, like E. Think pony, berry, or funny. So this is the main thing you have to remember for a Y that's at the end of a word. It is not random at all. It just comes down to counting the syllables. 1 syllable gets that long I sound, 2 or more gets the long E sound.
Okay, let's put it all together. We've gone through the 4 sounds one by one. Now, let's take a step back and see how they all fit together into one single complete system.
And here it is. This chart right here is your ultimate cheat sheet for the letter Y. You've got the consonant y at the beginning, you've got the short vowel I in the middle, and when it's at the end, you've got the long I for short words and the long E for long words. See? It's really that systematic.
So why does any of this even matter? Well, because English can feel so chaotic sometimes, like there are no rules at all. But as we just saw, sometimes there's a hidden logic right there under our noses. And understanding the pattern for Y doesn't just solve one tiny puzzle, it shows you that the language is way more predictable than you might think.
So, now that we've totally cracked the code of Y, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other English spelling mysteries are just out there, waiting for us to figure them out? I'd love to know what we should break down next. Thanks so much for tuning in.